I hate that I have to make this video. I really, really, really hate that I have to make this video. Hello, my name is May. This is Coffee House for Truth Seekers. Before I explain to you why I hate that I have to make this video and what I hate about it, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 29 years old, and I grew up during kind of the early days of YouTube. And I was very, very struck by it. It was something I was fascinated by. I wanted to be a content creator. I made a joint YouTube channel with my sister when I was 15 years old, which eventually just turned into my channel. There were several things that I wanted to do with my channel, but the two main ones are that I wanted to kind of have fun with anything music related. I really loved music, I loved dancing, I liked singing, and it was kind of just like something that seemed fun for me, but I also wanted to help make the world a better place. Let's see, how do I go about this one? Well, I'll just keep it real simple. That when I was growing up, my life was not very happy. And I had a very toxic mother, and I was homeschooled, so I was kind of stuck around her all day. And I had some mental health issues. And when I was in my early teen years, I wound up finding some YouTube videos that made a huge difference in my life. They were like nonfiction, self-help, educational type videos. And I decided I wanted to make those as well. So started making YouTube videos at 15. I told several of my real life friends about my YouTube channel so that they could watch my stuff, and it ended up being a pretty bad idea. One of them left some remarks on my channel that made me extremely uncomfortable. And because this was someone that I knew in real life, and because this was someone that I could expect to continue to watch my videos for the foreseeable future, I got extremely uncomfortable posting, and I stopped using that channel. I started this channel in 2019 after a several year gap between me ceasing work on my old channel and beginning the new one. In 2019, I was 20. How old was I? So in 2019, depending on the time of year, I would have either been 22 or 23 years old. I stopped posting on my YouTube channel. The remark that was made on my YouTube channel was left in 2016, I believe. So there was a 3-year gap between the comment and when I started my new channel, but there were a couple of other issues that were stopping me from posting, despite this having been something that I had been really wanting to do for many years. The big one, this is a quote, I actually have it on my banner for my YouTube channel. The font is not the easiest to make out, just another, thing I'm gonna have to work on. But it's a quote from author, I believe he's an author, Charles Bukowski, and it says something to the effect of, the problem with the world is that the idiots are so full of confidence and the intelligent people are so full of doubts. For many, many years, I have deeply fallen into the category of the intelligent person who is full of doubts. And I was so nervous to start a channel because I didn't want to mislead anybody, and I didn't want to share misinformation. I didn't want to have anybody that looked up to me too much, like taking too much stock in my opinions. And it took me a while to figure out the framework for that. The framework that I came up with is a story for another time. But I'll probably be making videos about that. It's definitely going to be integrated into my videos, so I'm sure it'll become apparent to you. The more you watch my stuff, you'll kind of be able to see my value set and how I approach things. But I'm also writing a book about it. So whenever that comes out, it'll be laid out pretty clearly what the framework I have for my channel is. Bro, I freaking hate this. I know other things I want to talk about. I don't like how unsmooth this is going, but this is why I gotta do this. Alright. I guess I will touch a little bit on this framework that I came up with. The basic gist is just extreme intellectual honesty. Intellectual honesty being the idea that when you share ideas, that you're being clear about the limitations of your knowledge. You're kind of using words that caveat your certainty levels, and you're not acting confident in something that you shouldn't be confident about. So not sure how I'm going to have to edit this to make that flow, but there you go. So that was when I finally decided to start posting, 2019, but it's been several years and I have not posted many videos because I've been stuck on a couple of other things. Now, about last year, I started to feel actually like a content creator, not just somebody who has made a couple YouTube videos, but like an actual content creator. Last year, my New Year's resolution was to publish 3 videos a month, one every 10 days. Now, I actually have 2 other YouTube channels that are for 2 different things. When I ended up abandoning my old channel, I ended up deciding to make new channels where I could kind of separate my interests. So the more artistic, more like light stuff is in those other 2 channels, and then this one is the one that I'm most passionate about. I call it my truth-seeking channel because I can't come up with something less cringy that comes up with the same effect. I also call it my non-fiction channel because that's less cringy, but I'm also not sure how clear it is to the average person. But the videos that I wanted to make were separated on amongst all 3 different channels. But even so, I still ended up not making as many videos as I planned to for my goal. I needed to make 36 videos, and I believe I made about 15, not including shorts. Each video came with its own short and also got posted on Rumble, which, if you don't know, Rumble is a video sharing platform similar to YouTube, but it has less strict rules about what you can and can't post. So it's a popular backup channel for people who are worried that their videos or their channels may be removed from YouTube. That way they still have a place where they can keep everything. So, by the way, feel free to go subscribe to my YouTube, go subscribe to my Rumble channel. If you want to support me, and I might get removed from YouTube one day, so there's that. Part of the reason why I didn't post as much as I wanted to is because of perfectionism. Some of this perfectionism is natural, and some of this perfectionism comes from having role models that are in a different life situation than me. One of the big things that pushed me to work as hard as I have been on content this last year, even though it's not reflected on my numbers, I put quite a lot of effort into it. I mean, I do have a full-time job. I'm active duty military, which means that not only do I have a full-time job, but I kind of work outside of duty hours a lot of the time. Like, you have times when you're on duty and times when you're not on duty, but even when you're not on duty, you often still have to be doing army things. And I also have 2 young kids, so finding time was difficult. And one of the things that pushed me to finally start really getting serious about finding the time, despite not having a lifestyle that's really easy to do it, was a YouTube channel that I found back in, I believe, the spring of 2023. And it's called, it's part of the Julian Dory podcast. And basically, this dude had only just started his channel at the time. It was like 2 or 3 years old, but he was doing really well, high quality content, like just as high quality as the big names, like, you know, Joe Rogan and Lex Friedman. Lex Friedman at the time had been my favorite podcaster, and he was a lot bigger than Julian Dory, but it was like the same type of content, quality, and type. And he had around 300,000 followers at the time. And what really struck me about that channel is that he seemed like he was about my age, and I thought, I think I'm just as smart as this guy. Like, not talking down on him, but, you know, I found out at some point in my life, I always thought I was average, found out at some point during my adulthood, or at least reached the conclusion that I'm actually pretty smart. And I thought, I think I can do what he does. I think I'm as good at, I mean, now there's a practice difference, but I'm like, I think I'm about as good at talking to people as he is. You know, why not me? If he's doing this well. So I kind of took motivation from him. I became a fan of his producer and the COO of the Julian Dory podcast, Alessi Alaman, who recently hit 250,000 subscribers. He hit 25,000. And the two of them have really been, like, especially Alessi, huge motivations for me to, like, really post and get stuff done and always be working on stuff. But one of the problems I kind of fell into after watching how fast they grew, because now Julian's far beyond 300,000K. Now he's got like 1 million. By the way, when I said Alessi had 250,000, I was mistaken. He had 250,000, 25,000. If he had 250,000 subscribers, it would be 250,000, but he does not have that. So my bad, I misspoke earlier. And one of the things that's been really hard for me is recognizing that I don't have the time to put out the quality content they have. One of the videos that I posted, I spent many, many hours working on editing it. It was a video where I interviewed random strangers about Charlie Kirk's assassination and how they felt about it. And I filmed it in September of 2025. And I didn't end up publishing it until December of 2025 because I could not let go some of the things I wanted to edit. It still isn't up to speed, but I was able to let go at some point and be like, this is good enough. But that took me 3 freaking months for me to decide that it was acceptable and upload it. And so that's one video in 3 months, as opposed to, how many videos was I supposed to do in 3 months? Like 9? So this is why I hate that I have to make this video. One of the reasons. Because this year I am committing to actually posting all 3 videos every single month, even if the quality is not what I want it to be. This is going to be the first video. I don't know how I'm gonna do in terms of quality. Maybe I'll edit it and make it pretty darn nice. But as far as I know, I'm just gonna upload it like this and then cut out some of the dead air of me sitting here like this. Insert clip of me sitting there doing like nothing. You know, those sorts of things. And like, just upload it anyway. My plan right now, this is another reason why I hate it. 3 videos a month, if I do 1 on each of my channels. And granted, I care about my other 2 channels, but this one's the most important one to me, so I hate this. If I'm doing 1 video on each channel per month, and that's 3 channels and 3 videos, that means that on this channel specifically, I'm only going to be uploading 1 video a month of, in my opinion, inferior quality. And I really hate that I have to do that. I wish that it could either be 1 fantastic video a month or 3 videos here a month, which maybe I will do, but I wasn't able to hit my goal last year, so I'm going to start smaller, and if I'm doing well in a couple of months, maybe I'll do better. But I really just need to get posting. So coming up this year, at least one video a month. Hopefully more, but at least one. It will be uploaded sometime between the 1st and the 10th of each month. And I'm also going to work a little bit on my studio here. This is another reason why it's been hard for me to film, because my designated filming area is really cluttered. Basically there's a room in my house that is my room. It's not my bedroom, although there is a bed in here. So my husband and I have a bedroom, and then we each have our own rooms, like, outside of the bedroom. And it's not just like our own place, but it's kind of the place where we keep all our stuff. This is more or less like my teenager room / barracks room type place, where I keep all the fun little stuff that I don't use in my daily life, but that I want to keep. I've got, like, makeup, I've got, like, some books, I've got old projects and whatever that I never finished. I keep my gear, my military gear down here. I've got some musical instruments and, that sort of stuff. But I plan to be turning this into primarily a studio, just a studio also where I do my makeup. But I'm going to be decluttering a lot of things, getting rid of a lot of stuff from my childhood, from my old life, just kind of stuff that isn't really fitting where I want my life to go right now. And I'm going to decorate this place, paint it, put up some wallpaper, and make it look a little nicer. But, yeah, so one of the inhibiting factors also for me making videos is that sometimes the best place to make a video is here, but I hate filming here because of how cluttered it is. Like, if I just turn my camera, like, this much, doesn't look that good. If I set up my camera here, and I'm, like, sitting in front where it's comfortable, I've got this pole right here blocking the light. But I don't want to let these things stop me from making videos anymore, because I have to remind myself that my role models in this space of content creation are not in the same place that I'm in. Julian Dory started making videos during COVID, full time, living in his parents' basement. And then he had Alessia Alaman move to his state to help him and, like, grow his channel with him until he was, like, really set. And then Alessi ended up moving out of state again. And Alessi, as far as I know, does not have kids. He might. He got married, a little bit ago, but not too long ago, so maybe he has a baby. I have no idea. But at the time, at least, he was single and childless, as far as I could tell, and then eventually got married, but married with no kids is still probably a lot easier than married with kids. I got 2 kids myself, so I have to remind myself that these people are not in the same situation that I'm in, and that if I'm doing what I really want to do, and I really want to do this, you guys, like, I told you I started my first channel when I was 15. I'm gonna be 30 years old in less than a year. And I wanted to start my channel before I actually started it too, but it's now like half my lifespan ago that I first started doing YouTube, and I have very little to show for it, and I'm tired of that. So I'm gonna be making stuff, whether it's good or not. And we'll see how this goes, but yeah, so that's a little bit about who I am. That's my situation. That's why it's taken me so long to finally start doing what I'm doing, and that's what you can expect from me out of the next year. 1 video a month, sometime between the 1st and the 10th, and we'll see how it picks up from there. So thank you for watching. If you're an old subscriber, thank you for still being here. I'm so sorry I haven't given you more till now. I'm giving you more now. And if you're a new subscriber or a new viewer, hello and welcome again. I'm May. This is my coffee house for truth seekers. And by the way, if you want to know why I call it Coffee House for Truth Seekers, I was very much inspired by the video from Food Theory, run at the time by Matthew Patrick, Matt Pat, who is no longer doing that channel, but, feel free to check on it. I love this video so much. But, feel free to watch this video where he basically talks about how coffee houses were kind of like a place where people would gather to discuss ideas that they otherwise could not gather to discuss because they were illegal. And yeah, I was just very, very inspired by kind of like the idea of the original old-fashioned coffee house in Europe, and what that meant for people kind of seeking the truth and, gathering together and trying to make changes in the world and that kind of stuff. So, stuff is sliding down. Got a lot of work to do, but I'm pumped. I'm real freaking excited. So, I think this is going to be a good year. Thank you for watching. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe, leave a comment, and give a like. If you don't feel like I've earned that, by all means, don't do it. I'm trying to actually earn your support. I don't want you to just give me a handout to be nice. But if you are interested in what I'm doing and you think maybe I'm going places and you'd like to help the algorithms move this video around and move my future videos around, if you could do one or all of those three things, that would be great. And again, I will be talking about taboo subjects, so in the event that certain videos or my channel gets removed, please go on over to Rumble and check it out. If you're not subscribed, if you don't have to have an account on Rumble to use it, so if you don't, like, hit the follow button there, that's fine. But just be aware that I'm over there, and feel free to check out my Rumble content. It's pretty much all going to be exactly what YouTube is, just copied over. And depending on the case, if that is the case, I will let you know in the YouTube video. But there may be certain times where I cut certain things out of the YouTube video that I'm afraid the algorithms might not like, and you'll be able to find the full version over on Rumble. So, thank you so much for watching this. Happy New Year. Good luck with whatever you're doing. And, for those of you who do decide to watch, I look forward to getting to know my audience. So, thank you so much and have a good one.